Michael Jackson's daughter is opening up about life after the death of her famous dad in her first solo interview. 13-year-old Paris Jackson and her brothers, Prince and Blanket, have been cared for by their grandmother since their father died back in 2009. Catherine Jackson has kept them out of the public eye for most of the last 2 years. But the two oldest siblings, Prince and Paris, are both starting to step into the spotlight. In an interview with talk show host Ellen DeGeneres, Paris talked about her upcoming movie role and her dream of becoming an actress.
So you're doing a movie. You're going to be in a movie. Is this something that you've known you wanted to do for a while?
Yeah, I love acting. It's
you
like
love
my
acting?
passion.
And how early on did you know you wanted to act?
Well, when I was really little. Because my dad was in like the movie Moonwalker, and I knew he could sing like really well, but I didn't know he can act. I saw that, I'm like, wow, I want to be just like him. So.
And how old were you then?
I was little, like I was younger than Blanket.
Really? And did you tell him? Did you tell your dad you wanted to act?
Yeah, and we did improvs together, and he would give us little scenarios, and he's like, okay, so in this scene you're gonna cry, and I'd cry on the spot.
You could cry on the spot?
Yes.
That's impressive. So then you got away with all kinds of things. Then he didn't know if you were really crying or if you were just acting, probably.
I was, apparently I was faking it a lot of times.
Joining me tonight, CNN producer Alan Duke, senior editor for In Touch Weekly, Kim Seraphin, and chief news correspondent Ken Baker. Great to see everyone. Wow, Alan, should I be surprised about what's happening here? A one-on-one interview, now she's getting into acting and opening up to the world.
I think I told you this was coming a couple of months ago. When we were involved in the trial, I said these kids are going to start getting out there, and in fact, they are. It's no surprise to me because she's been aggressive in tweeting and talking about her love of wanting to be an actress, and you know it wouldn't take long for somebody to offer something. And you know who she's involved with in this is CNN's Larry King and his wife, Sean. In fact, I was just checking Paris's Twitter page a few minutes ago, and she tweeted something from a production meeting with Larry and Sean and Catherine Jackson, her grandmother.
Wow. I want you to take a listen to another piece from this interview. Again, this is on The Ellen Show. Paris Jackson here now talking about being a child. And remember when they were in public, they'd always be shielded, wearing funny masks and things like blankets. Take a listen.
How are you enjoying school?
I love it. It's definitely a different experience.
Are people there, do they treat you differently, or do you feel like you have a very regular childhood?
I do have a regular childhood. I mean, I'm treated the same. Like when I came to Buckley, they didn't know who I was. I'm like, yes, I got a chance to be normal. So.
And they didn't know who you were because you used to wear masks all the time. And when you would wear the mask, do you remember thinking, because obviously your dad did that to protect you so nobody would know who you are and you could go out and have a regular life. But do you remember wearing a mask going, this is kind of weird?
Yeah, I'm like, this is stupid. Why am I wearing a mask?
Right.
But yeah, I kind of realized the older I got, like he only tried to protect us, and he explained that to us too.
Ken Baker, how about the, Paris Jackson now coming out, getting into acting? Do you think any of this would be happening if Michael Jackson was still around?
It's hard to say, I mean, because the only filter we have to make a judgment like that would be when he was alive. And when he was alive, he was very protective of them, so much so, like she was mentioning the masks, and which everyone roundly thought was pretty bizarre. And it turns out, including Paris Jackson herself, she thought it was really weird. And it was. His intentions seemed to be benevolent by doing that, but he did really keep them cloaked in this sort of private little world, and we never saw much of them. But I have to say, it's been over 2 years since Michael Jackson died. For her to be coming out now, it seems to me, and I'm told, much like what Alan said, that this is something that is a passion of hers. She wants a public life. She wants to be an actress. She's doing this movie, London's Bridge and the Three Keys, and she's going to be the featured actress in this. And I think it's something that, it seems appropriate. It seems like she wants to do it. I think there are a lot of people who think that they're surprised that after seeing what her father went through and being in the public eye, and ultimately was a very negative thing for him in a lot of ways, in most ways, that she would want to get into that life. It's a surprise, but at the same time, she seems to be very mature and composed. And look, she had a front row seat to just how bad it can get. And with that education, I'm sure she's learned a lot of how to cope with it.
Absolutely. And Kim, here's as you listen to her speak and watch, she's so normal, so grounded and so incredibly bright and articulate. I think she's going to be incredibly successful.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Listening to her, grounded, just intelligent. She really seems to know what she wants. And, you know, she doesn't seem to want to be an actress because she wants the fame. She's not saying she wants to be on red carpets or wants any of that notoriety, which, of course, she saw through her dad and the bad experiences he had. It sounds like she really just loves acting and talking about how she used to do improv sessions with Michael. So I think that tells you that her heart is really just because she loves it. She loves performing, and why wouldn't she? I mean, coming from that family, growing up around that family of performers, you would expect that she would want to be in the public eye, which is maybe why Michael wanted to keep them away from the cameras, because he knew that eventually they would go into the limelight.
I just can't believe that she's 13 years old with that level of maturity is unreal. Now, will fans really want to buy items from Michael Jackson's mansion, including furniture from the room where he died? We'll take a look.
The most memorable thing that your dad said to you was?
He said, if I die tomorrow, always remember what I told you. And I took his advice, and I remembered everything he told me.
That's amazing that he would say that to you. So you remember everything. Well, and I told you during the break, I'm so proud of you. What a life you've had. What an amazing thing that you've had to go through. And we all feel the loss, and I can't imagine what your loss feels like, but you're an amazing, amazing young girl and handling yourself beautifully. So thank you for being here.
I second that. That was Ellen DeGeneres speaking with Paris Jackson about her father and the advice that he gave her. Michael Jackson's 13-year-old daughter sat down with the talk show host this week for her first solo interview, and very, very impressive. My guests are back with me, Alan Duke, Kim Serafin, and Ken Baker. Alan, you took a little tour around Michael Jackson, the house he was renting. They're auctioning off the furniture and things inside. I want to take a look and show folks what you looked at today.
This is the room where Michael Jackson slept or tried to sleep. And the day that he died, he was in this room.
Yeah, this is the room. It was a beautiful room, sort of a foyer, and then obviously the bedroom with the seating area. And the bed we're not selling, but what we created here was a platform where the fans would come. We invited the fans to come and bring tributes. And all of these tributes that they made themselves will go to Catherine and the children.
So this is representative of where the bed would have been.
This is representative of where the bed would have been, exactly. And Mrs. Jackson asked us not to sell the bed, and of course we understood that and we respected that decision.
Alan Duke, so what's going on in that mansion? They're auctioning off the furniture and people are taking tours?
Well, it's not actually the mansion. What they've done, and this is really, really interesting, they've taken and recreated the mansion, the 100 North Carrollwood home, and recreated it in Beverly Hills at Julian's auction house. And that's not the actual room, but that's the actual furniture. Remember the nightstand where all the pills were on, the pill bottles and everything? That is sitting there. I was right there at it. That was sitting next to this makeshift memorial for Michael Jackson. The rug on the floor I was standing on is the rug that Michael might have died on. It's the rug that Dr. Murray or the paramedics or whoever, whichever story you believe, put Michael on the rug and tried to resuscitate him. That rug is there, and they're going to sell that on Saturday. So they've recreated it in this large space, and it's really rather bizarre, but striking and somewhat emotional when you see some of these
Absolutely.
pieces.
I want to get a quick reaction. We only have about 30 seconds left here. Kim, your reaction to what's going on with the auction of these items?
You know, bizarre, definitely, but clearly there are so many fans out there. Just look at how many people lined up outside of the trial all the time that was going on. So clearly there's going to be people who want to have a piece of Michael in some way, even if it's just from a picture they saw of his bedroom. Chief
News Correspondent Ken Baker, your reaction to what's going on?
Well, Alan and Kim just used the word bizarre, but I'm going to say tacky. It just seems just tacky to me, and it's unfortunate that there's no endless, there's just endless the ways that people want to try to monetize Michael Jackson's death.
Alan Duke, Kim Serafin, Ken Baker, thank you all so much.